I can't hear.
All right. Let me see if anybody can hear me out there. See what we got. Said it's streaming to my Facebook page. Okay. I'm not sure what's going on. That said we're live. Can you guys see me? Yes. Can you guys hear me? Yes. Okay, okay, okay. So we are waiting for our guest to come aboard. Let's see if I can comments. So anywho, how's everyone doing? Welcome to our first episode at the Cornerstone Boys with your host, Roberta Spade. Yes. Guys, I know it has been a while. It has been a while. It has been a while. Waiting for our guest to connect.
Me now?
Matthew.
Yes, hello. Can you hear me?
I don't know what's going on. I can't hear you.
I can hear you now.
Let me see. Hold on. Not sure what is going on with his audio. Hold on. Let's see. Hold up. Hold up. Wait a minute. There we go. Okay. Miss Lynette.
Ah, there I am.
Okay, it must be something I'm doing that I can't hear you guys. Hold on. Hold on. Edit mic setting. Bear with me, my people. Bear with me. This is a new platform. Let's add it to the stream. She's added to the stream. Boom, boom, boom. Audio. Testing. Right. Anything on you guys that you can see that is muted?
No,
Can you guys hear me?
we can hear you.
No,
Yes.
I can hear you.
Hold on 1 minute. Let me get some help. Guess. My mic doesn't work. Equipment. Guest instructions. I can't hear my guest. Does your guest have the correct mic selected in their cam mic settings? If you're on a computer, is it possible you have the wrong speaker selected? Try clicking the test speaker button in the audio setting. If you're on an iPhone or iPad, you may be experiencing Safari bug. Try tapping on the video of the person you can't hear. That's me. I need to do a live chat. Hold on. Hold on, peoples. We gonna get it together. Oh no, that's not what I wanted. No. Hold on. All right. Bear with me. Yes. Grant joint chat. Hold on. Got some virtual help coming. Hold tight, viewers. We'll get there. New system. What is it? The dot should light up. Okay, hold on. The dot should light up. No. Hold on, guys. Maybe I need to disconnect my mic. Let me see if that will work. Let's see. Hold on. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So it had to do with something that I had plugged up. All right, I got to figure out how to use this $100 mic I got. Okay. All right, y'all. We rocking and rolling. Again, welcome to the Cornerstone Voice first live episode. We gonna get it in. Look, I just want to say disclaimer, there might be some cursing in here. So make sure your kid is not in the room. We're gonna talk some real stuff about relationships, Black love, in love, falling out of love, all that good stuff. We're gonna talk about the main man's book. We're just gonna get into the conversation, guys, and really get into this nitty gritty. And since Valentine's Day is coming up, we need probably some pointers or something. I don't know. But hey, I am so glad to be here with you guys live because it's been a minute since you guys probably seen me live and doing my thing here. But yeah, I figured it's about time to get back in and just be me. The Cornerstone Voice used to have the No Turning Back with Blog Talk Radio. We're going to move into the Cornerstone Voice, just taking it all, doing some new, fresh ideas, interviewing people. My goal is to educate, as always, have fun, and be connected to the community. We're always looking for great individuals to be on panels, talk about some real things that's happening in your life. All right, guys? All right. So without further ado, oh my gosh, Isabel. Look, our first guest, I'm going to have them introduce themselves. Ladies first. Miss Lynette Jackson. Introduce yourself, girl.
Hey, Bert, how are you? I am Lynette Jackson. I am a motivational speaker and an igniter. I ignite women to release that thing that they hide inside of themselves and to help them truly be who they are and be badass women every day. I'm also the mother of two, one 36-year-old and one 30, and a grandmother of one. And I am a native Alexandrian.
All right. Alexandria in the house. Mr. Matthew Horne.
Well, thank you for having me on the broadcast, and hello to you as well, Lynette. And just want to introduce myself. Yeah, my name is Matthew C. Horne. I'm an author, motivational speaker, and dating coach. I reside from the Prince George's County, Maryland area, and I'm the author of 7 books. And my latest one is How to Get Beautiful, or How to Be Appealing to Successful Black Men for Black Women. And as a motivational speaker, I give people permission to be their unique selves. And in addition to that, I have a book publishing company and a PR company, and that's a little bit about me. So.
Yeah. So I don't know if you guys can see my shirt. I Love Black Authors shirt. It's actually part of the my Black Authors Expo as we were supposed to host last year. That's how I met Matthew and had him on the panel. So our goal is to have it this year, again, in person. I think it's so much better in person. But we are going to do that. So make sure you guys check out the Black Roots of Alexandria Facebook page for more information about the Black Authors Expo. So tonight, I don't know if you got your glass of wine or whatever, your beverage of choice. But tonight, we're going to talk about relationships. We're going to talk about being Black and in love. and where are we at today? So today I want to just open up the questions, and I'm looking down. I got my tablet here. Is to let's define. A lot of times we hear unhealthy and healthy relationships. So let's kind of start off with what is a healthy relationship, and what does that look like?
Ladies first.
Healthy relationship for me, and I'm gonna say myself, is a even give and take, reciprocation on both sides, a great level of respect, understanding, being able to adapt to the growth of the other person without conflict, being able to have communication and open about anything. In a sense, in a relationship, you should be able to be naked. You should be able to share any and everything with that person without judgment. That's a healthy relationship. One that's constantly growing, where the two people can come together, and maybe it's his turn to grow. So she puts her stuff on hold and helps him, and then vice versa. That to me is a healthy growing relationship.
Mr. Matthew.
Yes, a healthy relationship to me, it starts out with two whole people coming together, people who are very confident and satisfied with themselves and who they become as people. And that way, when they come together, the only thing that they can offer each other is companionship. From there is something along the lines of what Lynette said. It's the absence of frequent conflict. You all are compatible. You all are congruent, meaning that the world looks very similar to you both. And you're two human beings with your own flaws coming together. So there will be some merging, some disagreements, and just a overall merging process between the two individuals. But the conflict will not be frequent. Compatibility is the absence of frequent conflict. So just, two loving, caring individuals who consider each other before themselves, and who have a heart to stick in the relationship, and who began the relationship by bringing a mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally whole version of themselves to the relationship so that they can give it the maximum of what they have to give it. To me, that's a healthy relationship.
Now, what would you say? We're talking about two, individuals as far as mates, but let's dig in a little bit deeper, because before you even have those relationships with other people outside as opposite sex or same sex, um, you are in a relationship with a mother or a father or both. um, how important to even get to a healthy relationship? What is it that I guess mold you to be a healthy person, to provide a healthy relationship, if that makes any sense?
It does. Yeah. And it's always ladies first, unless you want me to take this one, Lynette.
Just chime in. Just chime in.
Okay. The preparation begins when a person begins to get in relationships, and if the same unfavorable outcomes keep happening to a person, they have to eventually take a look at themselves and realize that they're the common denominator. And from that point, you don't necessarily put the weight on if your parents gave you the love you needed, if the world dealt you a hard hand, or have you want to look at it. What you do is take complete and utter responsibility for getting yourself to a healthy state so that you can experience better outcomes in relationships. If that means going to therapy, if that means finding a sound man or woman that you can be mentored by, who has the results you want, you have to take the responsibility for getting yourself to a place that you can have the best outcomes that you can experience. So it's not about what, mom, dad, or society did to you. It's the acceptance that, you have to take complete responsibility for the outcomes that you're experiencing. And you have to get your own life on a path to that healthy trajectory that's going to put you in places and make you compatible with people that you can have healthy relationships with.
But if we haven't seen it, how do we know how to have it?
That's, I mean, I can
Right?
equate.
Can I take that one?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can I take that one?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. For me, I think this is what the question you're asking, Roberta. I had my mother and my father. My mother's my best friend. I could tell her anything. I mean, anything. My father, in his own way, nurtured me and empowered me through his words. I saw a lot growing up. My great grandmother took me aside one day and said, "We're not going to hide anything from you. You're going to see it all, the good, the bad, and the ugly. From that, you choose the life that you want. If you see bad, then you do it better. If you see good, do it in your own way." Though everything I saw molded me into who I am today. It was like 8 of them: my grandmother, my great grandmother, my mother, my aunts. They all poured into me how to be a woman. They weren't perfect. They made mistakes, but they owned the mistakes when they made them. And then I had the men who taught me about men, and and the good and the bad of that. My father wasn't perfect. I saw the bad that I didn't want in a man, based on what I saw the men around me do, and as well as the women. I saw the good, the bad, the ugly, and I chose the life that I wanted to live. I don't blame anything that I do on them because I'm an adult, and like he said, I take responsibility for what I do. But they molded that. They nurtured that in me, the strength and the ability to go and have relationships. And seeing them in relationships, I learned what I wanted and what I didn't want, and how to operate in the relationships, the good and the bad way.
Well, I know and correct me if I'm wrong, there are people who are not so fortunate to have that kind of life that goes out and they go into a relationship and they don't know how to experience love. They don't know how to trust. They don't really know what a relationship looks like other than the broken stuff that they saw before, right? So for them, if their perception, because everybody's perception is different. You can live in the same house, experience the same thing, but your perception of what you experience is going to be different, right? So their perception of what they experience
True.
is totally different, right? So they experience their perception of something that we call broken, broken communication or no communication, no affection, there was really no real blueprint. Why are you doing that? No real blueprint. So they go out into the world and they try to cultivate a relationship, but end up hurting that person, not being able to have the tools, quote unquote tools, to function in a relationship. You follow me?
Oh, yeah.
You follow me? I think you sort of kind of touched on some of that what I'm reading to. I don't know. We had lost Lynette. All right. You're back.
Was that just me or was that everybody?
Nope, that was just you.
Oh, I don't know what happened.
That's okay. So on the, we're just sitting here conversing about this situation here. a relationship, what relationships mean. So they move. So for me, I think the first order of being whole and productive in a relationship is knowing and loving yourself.
Mhm.
First.
I think that sometimes we miss the total mark because of how he's brought up. Our grandparents, great grandparents stayed in marriages, got early, married at 12 years old, and stayed in marriages that was abusive. And so some of that was passed on to the next generation, where they were told, that was love. That is how it is expressed. So when we go into, we pass that bad information on because that's all we know. And I've seen it. I've seen people who have been passed on that information because their perception was, this is how it is. I know no other way. I don't know how to find love for me. I don't know what it looks like to love who I am. And it asks for the respect, demand that respect, because all I knew was what my great grandmother passed on to my grandmother, that passed on to my mother, that passed on to me. Now that I'm in a relationship after relationship after relationship after relationship, trying to find Mr. Right. But I can't find Mr. Right because, like you said earlier, it's me. I'm the common denominator, but I don't realize it because my perception is it didn't work out because of someone else. Not in my fault, because I've done everything that I was taught. Y'all follow?
Definitely. And that's why the Bible says, ye shall know the truth, and the truth will set you free. And the Bible, if you look at the other side of that verse, ye shall know the lie, and the lie will keep you in bondage. As long as you're blaming someone else for something that you continue to experience over and over and over again, then you're going to stay in that mental and spiritual bondage and continue to create that same result. It just takes the person being aware and humble enough that their way of doing things has continuously gotten them an unfavorable and undesirable result. At that point, you seek professional help. Okay, if you've exhausted all of your means, you seek mentorship from successful women in healthy marriages. You seek therapy. You just completely make it your responsibility to undo everything inside of you that has continuously gotten you the unfavorable result. Will Smith made a video on Instagram. It was his first video on Instagram maybe a couple years ago. He says there are some things that happened to you that were not your fault. We come up a lot of times, in Black households, we see toxic things. We may witness, infidelities, abuses, disrespect. We see a lot. Okay. But as we become adults, that wasn't your fault that you experienced that. But if you're going to have a healthy quality of life that begins with you enjoying who you are and consequently presenting a healthy version of yourself to someone that you can build a healthy life with, if you're going to experience that, you have to realize that it wasn't your fault that you experienced these toxic things that maybe molded you into who you are, but it's your responsibility to fix it and undertake whatever measures are necessary to get on the right track towards becoming whole yourself, so that you can get with a whole person and have a whole enjoyable experience with that person.
So talk to me, y'all. What was your first real relationship? Like, it could been like a real relationship, meaning someone you confide in, someone that you talk to, someone that you actually trust. What was your first real relationship? Was it best friend, girlfriend, your mom? Who was your first real relationship with?
Well, I said my mother, but the other one is someone who I'm still friends with today. And we're more like sisters than friends. And the first day I met her, we were in kindergarten, and she came in, she sat down beside me, this feisty little 5-year-old, and she's still feisty. And I can confide in her about anything. She can confide in me, and there's some graveyard stuff we going with that won't nobody know about. And
I
Roberta,
know
you know
that's
who I'm
right.
talking about. And like, we do a lot together. Like if I call her in the middle of the night, she's coming. If she calls me, I'm coming. Like that's just the relationship that we have. We have bad moments. We fight, we fuss, we fall out, we do all of that. But 50 some years and we're still friends. She's the yin and I'm the yang. And through her, that's a unconditional love that will never die. But we're just not blood sisters. We're friends.
Right, right.
And we bounce stuff off of each other. We learn from each other. We dislike what each other does. It's just the nature of the friendship. So
Mm-hmm.
she would be that person because she's still there.
Yeah. What about you, Matthew?
I know you introduced like a few different types of relationships. So I'll focus on, say, my first romantic love, if you want to call it that. And I was 21 at the end of my senior year in college, and I met someone, and she was cool, and it was kind of unexpected, and things were good, and we were able to enhance each other in different ways, and in the midst of that, things didn't work out, but we definitely were better people for having known one another, and we were extremely young. I was 21, she probably was like 18, and you know that was my first real romantic, like, oh man, I actually fell for somebody type of experience. So
Okay, okay. What's I guess you kind of both touched on it. What was really special about this relationship that you didn't cultivate it with someone else?
The trust.
um,
For me, the trust,
Trust.
the level of trust. Yeah.
okay, so you're saying what was special about this relationship, because you kind of broke up just a little bit.
Yes. What was so special about this relationship that you didn't cultivate it with someone else?
I guess that particular one was it was emotional depth.
Mm.
And when you actually like fall for someone, and maybe you've dealt with someone in the past, and you thought that you had a level of connection, but it's the first time you're completely gone with somebody, and you're like, what in the world is happening? Like, your every other thought, they just bring things out of you that you didn't even necessarily know were in you, in terms of depths of love and caring and things like that. So that's what differentiated that particular experience from the rest.
Okay, okay, okay. So we have some comments. I'm trying to find the right glasses so I can see y'all. So forgive me if I keep switching. Um,
Get them eyes together. Get those eyes together.
girl, 55, 55 around the corner, y'all.
Oh,
Welcome, Chanel. I think I'm saying her name right. Chanel Lynn. Sandra Turner. Welcome, guys. Made a comment. Hello, but Chanel said, "What's your take on opposite attract?" Since we initially was talking about compatibility, opposite attracts. Do y'all guys believe in opposite attract?
yes.
Yeah, it's real. Lynette, you want to take that one, or?
I believe in opposites attract. It's real. I've experienced it.
But did it work?
It worked
Again,
for
did it actually work
it worked for
for a bit?
it worked for about 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
We have a son. We're totally different. We're not alike in any way at all. But it worked. And out of it came one of the best parts of me. So
Right.
yeah, it can work. It worked for almost 6 years. Yeah. But we were young too. So
Yes.
but
Yeah.
yeah, it can work.
What about you, Matthew? Do you believe in the opposites attract, and can they sustain?
Yeah, because no two people are 100% alike. So even if you're opposites, you all are the same in some way. You have some sort of common ground in terms of just makeup and characteristics that makes you two compatible and that draws you two together. So even if you're opposites, then there's still enough that is similar within you that draws you two together. And sometimes it's just passion, sometimes it's emotion, it's the depth of the connection. It's not always what we're comprised of. It's not always our makeup and our character and characteristics and mannerisms and things like that. Sometimes it's just a spiritual connection, and that's now you start leaving logic and reason. When you're just spiritually connected to someone, and even if you all are opposite, what can keep those people together is what they value and how they treat one another. That I've seen. If you all are giving each other the treatment that you desire, even though you all may be different people, then that connection and just that reverence and that respect for one another can make the relationship thrive.
Define spiritual connection.
What do you
Mean by spiritual connection?
Yeah, that's that real magic right there. That's what can't be quantified. That's when your desire to be with that person and to be in the realm of that person, it overwhelms you. And that tends to be a spiritual type of connection right there. And it's reciprocated on both sides. You two may have met people that you were more attracted to than this person, but it's something about them that draws you to them and vice versa. So this starts going beyond your norms, your desires, your experiences. This is a strong connection that takes on a life of its own. And that's what I mean by the spiritual connection.
Okay.
Oh, so y'all had a moment, huh? We'll leave it right there.
He's pulling.
It's a lot of
This
different
is
ways
not
people connect.
therapy, Matthew. We're not in therapy.
Hey, listen, I know where y'all at with it. And yeah, it's a lot of different places where people connect,
Yeah.
that will keep you two in each other's presence, So I'll just I'll leave it at that.
I mean, okay. I'm probably gonna go left, but it's my show and I can go left.
Hey, let's go there. Come on.
We all grown. Okay. So you see a person across the room, ain't looking real good, She looking like a nice snack. He looking like a tall glass of water. You know what I'm saying? We talking. We ain't really got nothing in common. I'm just digging how he feel. He just digging how she look. You know what I'm saying? She looking real good. Now they get together and really ain't nothing going on, but they sexually attracted to one another.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And she pleasing to the eye, and he pleasing to the eye, and everything working well in the bedroom, right? At what point is it that one may realize that this is all that it is, and I can accept that? Is there anything out there to say, hey, about 3-4 months, you're gonna get tired of that. You're gonna want something more deeper, more in depth, more a better conversation than what the the skin of things of, how was work today, what you got planned, you want to go to dinner, you want to do this, you want to go to movies, and ultimately we all know after that is home in the bed. You know what I mean?
If
Yeah,
that's the case,
exactly.
we're not going to dinner. We're not going out. We're not going anywhere. We're going to meet up. We're
Yeah,
going to do that.
it comes to a point where
Call
they
you next
say,
time. Like, we
look,
don't, none of that's
look.
not in play, because that's not what it is.
But it goes.
See, that's
It
what's
gets to the
called,
point where we say,
calling a thing a thing. Huh?
Right.
You got to know what it
But
is.
that's when. But if we go into the relationship seeing something with our eyes, right? With our physical eyes, and going into it with the expectations. Now let's talk about that. Expectations. When we put expectations on people of that wasn't even the part of the program. He thinking she look good, she look tasty. I'm gonna smash that. She, on the other hand, like he look good. Maybe he could be my baby daddy. We're gonna see where this gonna go. You know what I'm saying? It started off, both of us physically looking at each other, okay, and off going off into their relationship. Because a lot of times they say the woman is the one that get emotionally attached when this happens more so than a man. What y'all say about that? Talk to me. Talk to me.
With that one, with that one,
I've
that's a
seen that both
yeah.
ways. I've seen
Mm-hmm.
that both ways. So I think it's specific to the individual more so than the gender. It's the person, and it's seeing what's true and not trying to turn it into something that it's not. Because the person will show you what they want, and but then you have some that are really good. It'll take you a while to figure it out if you're not paying attention. And if you don't get that haze over your eyes based on the sex, then you can kind of see it for what it is, or you just have a conversation about it. What are we doing? What is this? This is what I want. What are you looking for? Then
Right. What do you have to say about that, Matthew?
That begins with a person just being true to themselves. And if you're going to get in a relationship with somebody, you've probably been around them long enough to see that person in terms of who they are and if they fit what you're looking for in terms of being in a relationship with that person. A lot of people are disappointed because they just lie to themselves. They call blue black and they call black blue, hoping that they can change the color when the colors do nothing but become more fluorescent as the relationship goes on. So that's just a product of people just lying to themselves. And that's what happens. You tend to be disappointed when you're just not honest with yourself. And the type of person that doesn't go down that road is the person who knows themselves, who reveres themselves, who respects themselves, and they've accepted themselves, meaning that they know what they're compatible with, and they're not going to enter the game of a relationship with anyone who they're not compatible with. Love is not enough. The sex is not enough. Nothing is enough unless that person is aligned with who you are. But you can't get to that point until you know yourself. So that's pretty
Right.
much that's my take on it. The people who are going down that road and not getting the results they want and not getting what they want from that person are people who just lied to themselves. They that person showed them exactly who they were. They just chose to call black blue and blue black.
Again, that takes us back to what I talked about earlier, which was learning to love yourself, learning to know who you are, how to love, what does love look like. So many of us, when we get to a certain age, have been in bad relationships and are afraid to love because they've been hurt. But in order to experience true love and understand, to be able to see the person for who they are, because they have their guards up as well, they can sense that you're not being fully authentic in their relationship, right? And so, therefore, you have two people pretending to be in love when they really haven't figured that thing out of loving who they are and being able to bring down their guards and to offer the love that they have. What y'all say about that?
All right, Lynette, ladies first.
This guy.
I mean, I
Thank
can
you.
go. Don't worry
I
about it.
appreciate it. Thank you.
I'm just being courteous.
Thank you. That's true. That's true. And it's true in scenarios when it could be true in scenario with people who love themselves. Most often than not, people show up with their representative. They don't show you their true self. I mean,
Right.
it's like social media walking. You gotta dig to get to the
Mm-hmm.
real person based on whatever it is they have going on, or maybe it's just what they do. But yeah, that happens a lot. And you just have to know who you are, like you said, coming into the situation and confident in who you are and pay attention.
Definitely. And it's very important to know yourself, and when you know yourself, you don't hold back. When you know yourself, you just give the person who's in front of you a chance to show who they are and to decide if they're congruent and compatible with you, and then you begin to think about being in the space of a relationship with that person. But if a person truly knows themselves, they trust themselves, they learn from their experiences, they know what to look out for, they have heightened recognition of things that they are and are not congruent with. Okay. If a person is going through life from that vantage point right there, there's two things that they rely on when they're assessing the person who's in front of them. Number one is time, and number two is vulnerability, because people cannot pretend forever. What happens is that as time progresses, at some point in time, that person is going to be in a vulnerable position, meaning their back is going to be against the wall. Okay. When their back is against the wall, all of the pretenses, all of the representatives, all of that stuff evaporates, and you see that person for who they are. So if a person is really wise and they've had experiences, they're going to use time and vulnerability as the gauge to determine who this person is. And when that person's back is against the wall, then you respect that as the truth of who that person is. And in that moment, that person may disappoint you, or they may even make you trust them more because they impressed you and made an impression on you with how they handled that vulnerable situation.
Uh-oh.
We still there?
Okay, there you go.
Okay. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. It's just trusting yourself, and then time and vulnerability, and trusting what you see in that person over time, and just seeing if that person remains the same over time. Because, like I said, people cannot pretend forever.
Okay. So look, we're our time is coming really close. So I got some things I want to discuss though before um we run out of time. So let's talk about expectations. The expectation, I think Matthew, you talked a little bit about that in your book. With the expectation women have on men and the expectation men have on women, how they are fair or unfair. And Matthew, in your book, you talked about let me just kind of like read this a little bit. Requiring a successful Black man to lavish you financially without even knowing you is a way of moving that is was it vastly, I can't even read, perpetuated by
I think I said perpetuated. I'm sorry.
perpetuated by mainstream female rappers as well as reality television and other mediums of Black media images. A woman regarding a man to greet her with finances represents a non-evaluated consciousness and low-level thinker.
Oh yeah.
Um, so, uh, well, answer this question really is, do you think when you wrote that particular sentence, what was your I guess facts of putting that down? Um, when you talk about financially without knowing a person, what I mean, give me an example of what you're trying to say here.
Okay. That came from my experiences being a single man out here on the dating scene, and my other, successful friends, and we were all having sort of the similar experiences when we were out here dating in the Washington D.C. area. And an example of that would be, say you ask a girl, say, hey, let's go get a drink, let's have some conversation like we just met. Maybe I met her when I was out or on an app or something like that, and she's just like, no, we have to go to this 5-star restaurant, and if that's not something you want to do, then I won't be in that equation. It's that came from the entitlement of many women, not all, but many women, just thinking that the man is supposed to roll out the financial red carpet, and without him even knowing how much you're into him, how congruent or compatible that you are, that he has to begin the conversation with his wallet. Now, what I didn't like about that experience, that is an implication that you are above him. And the book is written from the vantage point of a successful Black man. And that's one of the worst things that a Black woman can do, is approach a successful Black man who has sovereignty over his world. He's mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally whole. He needs nothing from you. And he is actually a bit of a commodity if you look at the pool of Black men that you have to choose from. So that's why I wrote that, is it doesn't serve you to approach him as if you're on higher ground than him. And the easiest way to turn him off is to approach him with entitlement, as if it's some sort of privilege for him to be in your presence when he actually values himself. So I was trying to prepare the Black woman to recognize and revere the top level successful Black man, and actually how to approach him so that you will be appealing to him. And that was the purpose of it.
So again, we're talking about expectations. Lynette, you want to chime in on that?
Yeah. I have a different take on it than he does.
That's exactly why. Mm-hmm.
I'm not above anyone, but I am the prize. So when I'm asked out, I should be taken to a nice place. I can take myself, but I should be taken to a nice place. And I've had experiences with top level men. And anytime I've gone out with one, that's where we've gone. I didn't ask to go. It's just an expectation that he set, because that's the level that he's on. So in his world, it's beneath him to take me anywhere other than a nice restaurant. It's not going to happen the first day we meet. If we're out and we meet each other out in a setting, isn't I don't that's never going to happen. But beyond that point, after we had conversation and a date was discussed, it was at a very nice restaurant and continue to be at nice restaurants. So I guess there are two different ways to look at that. But most women aren't going to come into the situation putting a man, if you come into the situation putting a man on a pedestal, it's already starting out on the wrong foot, because he's in a space he shouldn't be in at that point, because like you said, she doesn't know him and he doesn't know her. Everybody's on an even footing in the beginning. I mean, and if you take a woman out, if you're at that level, that's where you go. You go to nice restaurants, you do nice things. So if you're taking a woman out, you're 9 times out of 10 going to take her to the same level of restaurant in most cases. And there are some cases where that's not the case for whatever the reason. But on the other side, it shouldn't be expected. No woman should expect that. And no man should expect that a woman sees him as, I don't, as more than he is based on his economic level. That's the wrong way to look at that. And that's taking a woman that could already be broken in some areas. And if she senses that, that could break her more. And then that level, that man won't get the best of her because she's coming into the situation like that. So it's not so much about where we sit down, it's about experiencing you and you experiencing her. And a high level man, that's just what he's going to do. He's going to go to high level places. So if he's dating a woman and he in his mind knows that this is something he wants to pursue, he's going to take her to a nice place. If he sees a woman and in his mind he just wants to hit, he's going to take her wherever he takes her, and then expect her to be okay with it. That's just my take on it from dating 2 highly successful men. Their expectation was, this is not where I'm going to go. And because I want to date you, this is not where I'm going to take you.
Makes sense.
That's just my personal experience in that scenario. And there are women that get caught up on the reality TV shows, and bless their hearts, that's not real life. But those are my experiences with high level men. It's it's the woman and what she exudes and how she carries herself. And if he knows that when he meets you, he's going to roll out the red carpet automatically, because it's just what he does.
And we're looking at, you have anything to say before I move on, Matthew?
Yeah, it's more so about the dynamic. I said that to essentially say a healthy minded, emotionally mature man is not going to place anyone above him, and he's not going to place himself above anyone. So when I said, lose the entitlement is posturing yourself above him. That's what I was speaking to. And if he has a healthy perception of himself, that's the end of the conversation right there. No matter how the woman looks, no matter where she comes from, her background, her societal standing, that sentence that you read spoke more to establishing a healthy dynamic where you all are viewing each other as equals. And prize thinking is congruent with someone believing that they're more valuable than the other person, and this is something that a lot of women don't understand. This is from a man's perspective. Okay, you can require that man to do something, and that tends to maybe turn him off a little bit, because it shows that you're more into the experience as opposed to being more so into him. Or you can inspire that man to do something. And what women don't realize is that when you inspire a man to do the best for you, he's going to give you way more than if you would have required him to do it, because he knows you're there for the right reasons. And that was essentially what I was saying in that sentence is, lose the entitlement, and don't go in there requiring things of men and having a prize mindset, but show up as a healthy version of yourself and inspire that man, and you'll be amazed at the experience you'll have with him.
So I think you may been talking about, and I've been in conversations with women, young women. I wouldn't say women in my age now, but earlier in I would say in my 30s, my 20s kind of thing. The conversation would be, oh, he got to have a nice car, he got to have a nice job, he got to have a house, he got to have this, and here you are, you driving something, a bucket that break down every other day. You living with your mom with your 3 kids, But the expectation is we want to find a man who we feel that is supposed to be our provider, quote unquote, our provider, to take care of us, rescue us, and place us in those, in the things that we expect to have. I always grew up as my mother would always say, get your own.
Right.
Get your own, have your own. That kind of hindered me in a way, because I'm a type of person, literally what you say is what I'm going to take it as, kind of thing, without any bend. So in growing as a woman, I had to understand there will be certain things I would accept and certain things I would not accept. But putting my expectation on someone and I didn't have it was unfair. That's how I looked and ran my life. I wasn't gonna put my expectation on the person I was dating, and I didn't have those things. I wasn't close to those things. So I had to find something that matched where I was at or where I wanted to be. Because I was back in the day in a relationship where I felt that they were more above me than I was. That I don't think better than me, but their life was what I wanted, but I didn't feel, I won't say worthy, but at the time worthy of being in that circle of people, because they were very successful, and really doing some dynamic things. And there I was with kids struggling, going to school, working 3 jobs, a whole different life that they weren't even accustomed to. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So I had to readjust a lot of things in my life. We got some things. Let me put my glasses on. I try not to have expectation on the first date. I want to see him in his element and see how he moves without requirement from me, because because it will give me insight into what I'm dealing with later. That's Chanel. If he takes me to a high level restaurant on the first date, because it's what I want to impress me. Will is it be consistent? Can he continue to do what he did to capture my attention? That's a lot of things in relationship. We start off with these grandiose things, sending flowers every other day to the workplace, and taking trips. But then later on, like 2 years go by, the trips get lesser and lesser. The flowers get maybe, your birthday. So that's a very good point. Let's not set the expectations so high, putting on that mask to go out and not be able to carry that on if that's not really who you are, and your pocket are not able to do that. So anybody want to jump in?
Yeah, with that, Lynette, I don't want to, hog the mic. Is there something you want to say?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. If I'm speaking from the vantage point of the successful black man, and this doesn't necessarily have a lot to do with money. Okay, it's basically the person that he is. You know, is does he have, you know, provider instincts? Even if he's not where he wants to be in life, does he have an upward trajectory? Is he working towards something? Does he have a trail of results, especially after the age of 30? You're not dreaming anymore. You need to have some results. So essentially, this man, once again, is together physically, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. And by consequence of those things, which are the things that matter, most oftentimes he's very together financially as well. Okay, because he values himself. He's a high value man, meaning he values himself highly. You know, the money does not define him. The money is a byproduct of the man that he's evolved into. Okay. That type of man, I'm going to be honest with you, that type of man believes that he is enough without offering a woman cash and prizes to quote unquote impress her. He does not cater to women. He does not sell himself. He presents himself. And I'm talking about, you know, so if a man feels that he has to impress you and go above and beyond, you know, especially in the beginning, that's a man that's saying, I am not enough. I have to introduce these things from the material world to elevate who I am in your mind. Okay, that is a cornerstone of an insecure man. And if you have an insecure man, he's unstable. Your experience with him is going to be all over the place because he's already showing you he's not even solidified within himself. A woman is better off with a man that is solidified in who he is, and don't put so much credence on what he's doing for you in terms of giving you material possessions and things happen in the material world. Put the credence on this man's character, how he's showing up to you, and the treatment that he's giving you. Okay, if those are the cornerstones of the things that you can value this man for, then, you know, anything in the material world is fleeting. You can be up one minute, down the next. Okay, what's going to be lasting is who is this man in his core, because that's who he's going to take with him, whether he's up or where he's down. That's what he's going to take with him through life every day. So that's the important thing. And if you're caught up in the material world, then, like I said, that's the insecure man. You know, that's the one you're going to have an unstable existence with, and good luck with that.
Let's talk about black love. I know we're way over the time, but we spend some time with technology. So let's talk about the power of black love. The power of black love that kept parents together, great grandparents together. Do we still have that respect and love and family of the black love that we had before in our culture? What do you guys think?
Barely. Barely.
Barely.
Barely. Yeah. Barely. Because most of those who were demonstrating that are no longer here. So it's not, you don't see
the
it.
foundation. What was the foundation? You think that kept them so in love, so, you know, supported their men when they didn't have anything, right, Matthew? Like they had to go out and go to another city to find work to support their family in another city, another state. What held the family together back then like that?
The
What do
strong
you
black
thought?
woman. The strong black woman. Because that's who was left at home while he went out to do the work. That's who made sure that he was relaxed when he came home from doing the work. That's who cooked. That's who cleaned. The strong black woman. That's who held the family together. There is no family without the woman and a strong black woman.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah. So
Matthew,
oh, no. You know, I thought you wanted me to interject.
You
First of all,
said he
Lynette,
went out to work. I mean, he's home if he's gone.
I am not in opposition to that. Amazing things happen when you have, you know, two, you know, black people who love each other within the household. And everyone definitely plays their position, and the black woman is amazing. I desire nothing on earth other than a black woman, and that's many black men. Do you realize that 80% of all married black men are married to black women? That's a fallacy. That's a myth that we become successful and marry outside of our race. I mean, the statistics don't lie. Black men love black women. We revere black women. And at the end of the day, when we choose, to attempt to do it for a lifetime and put that ring, it's on the hand and the finger of a black woman. But what has disrupted us from that point of black love where you were talking about, it's the power structure. And I'm not going to say the two words before the power structure. Okay. Black love was too empowering. Okay. Black love was birthed from self-love. Okay. We had these two black leaders, Martin and Malcolm, who came along and changed the collective black consciousness and unified it and had us to love ourselves. We were self-contained. We had our own everything. Businesses, we had good jobs, we had households, and you had two-parent households. That the neighborhood would raise the kids at that point. But then that went against the agenda of the power structure. Okay, we loved ourselves too much, and we were too unified, and we were too strong. Okay, so our leaders have to get a complimentary bullet to the head, and then in comes welfare. We'll say, oh, okay, black woman, we'll take care of you as long as there's no man in the house. In comes drugs and guns into the community to remove that black man from the head of his household. So now that indoctrination of the power structure can go right in that house. There's not a man at that door to stop that toxic indoctrination that's destroying the black community to come through that house at that point. And black love is too dangerous. And the evidence of it is they made such a concerted effort to separate us, through the drugs, the guns, the incarceration, and taking the black man out of the house and taking care of the black woman as long as no man was present. That was all by design, and that essentially has us where we are now. They created a divide. The divide even goes to the corporate plantation, and I talk about that in my book. How, if I was on a plantation, okay, at 6'5", in the prime of my life with my build, okay, I would go for top dollar. Slave owner would take me back to the plantation. If there's any whispers of hope from the rest of the slaves, everybody gather around. He beats me to the point of near death. To let everybody know, especially that black woman, know I'm your master. You cannot rely on him for strength. So let's take that to the modern day corporate plantation. The black woman will elevate at a higher and faster rate than the black man. She will be there in larger number. Okay. And with that, the message is that I'm doing better than you. I cannot rely on you for strength. So the same mechanisms that destroyed that black love are alive and well today. They're just veiled differently. So I just believe that the black woman needs to look at the character of the man. Does he have an upward trajectory? Is he not sitting around playing PlayStation every day? Is he loving? Is he caring? Is he present? Okay. With those characteristics being there, you have a chance to build something with him. And so that's how we can reclaim the black love. And honestly, I believe that the black man needs to reclaim his household as well. The black man needs to get back at the head of his household to show those kids, what black love is, how to love yourself, in that there are endless possibilities for you in a world that says that you're less than.
We need that. That need to be a whole new show. Taking back the black man, taking back the head of the household. That need to be a whole different show. What'd you say, Lynette?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Different show.
agree. Yep. Okay, guys, we're gonna wrap it up. Give us 3 ways we can build strong relationships.
Hmm.
3 ways we can build strong relationships.
Communication,
Mhm.
consistency, and unconditional love.
Matthew.
Knowing yourself,
Mm-hmm.
considering the person across from you, and creating a world and a safe space for you both, and not letting the outside world influence you too, and who you are and what you desire from one another.
I like that. I would say learn to love self, build a strong bond among the family, and communication. Those are my three. So this is Matthew's book, How to Be Appealing to Successful Black Men for Black Women. And I'm still reading it. I'm like going through like different chapters, reading a couple of things. Very good book. Very interesting. We need to dive a little bit more into the word successful. Means different to everybody. So we'll have you back on the show. Talk a little bit more about your book. And you guys are always welcome. Like I said, this is the Cornerstone Voice. We're talking about what's going on in your universe, in your world, to make the world a better place. So, guys, I thank you for your time. Thank you for hanging out with me tonight. I seen I was the only one drinking, so I'm gonna finish this up. That's why I couldn't read.
I'll be with you next time.
Like this. Oh, it's all good though. We just having fun. What we got it? Wait a minute. Let me put these glasses. Let me see if I get something. Nope, that we don't have any more questions. But you guys, thank you guys for hanging out. I know it's been a little late for some of you guys. I appreciate you guys being my first guest on our new show, The Cornerstone Voice. We will be broadcasting every third Wednesday. Thus far, every third Wednesday. I know this is the second Wednesday, but we'll be broadcasting from this point on every third Wednesday, 8:00 p.m. with some, maybe here and there. Next month actually is Women's Month, and I usually do the Women in Power webinar. So I'll be actually interviewing women for the whole month of March. So stay tuned for those clips. Advertisement marketing. I need to go to bed. Marketing. And hey, if you want to be a part of the Cornerstone Voice, go check us out on the Facebook page. Like the page. There is a link to fill out to be a guest. I would like to start getting maybe 4 or 5 of us in the conversation of different topics. What's about life and what's going on. One of the things that I would love to have is a bunch of women talk about what my mother didn't tell me segment. But next month we will have the Black woman's experience in corporate America, which would be really, really good. So love to hear what's going on with us working in the corporate world. So guys, thank you so much. I love you guys, and I will see you on the other side.
Thanks for having us.
All right. Good night, guys.
Night.
Good night.